Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Popcasts on the Rocks. It's episode 30. It's we're getting up there. I mean, we're not episode 500 like a lot of things, but 30 is pretty good.
Hey, every milestone counts.
Yep. So yeah, it's a Sunday, a little different day.
Yep.
Hope you are glad you're joining us. And I am John, as I always am. This is Andrea, as she always is. How's your evening going?
Good. It's really been a busy weekend. Yeah, you're catching me, like I said earlier, in my full sporty look because I just got finished with a couple of softball games, which was pretty fun.
Nice.
And then on sort of the other end, of the social gathering scale, I also had 2 bridal showers that I attended this weekend. So, yeah, lots of very, very busy time over the weekend, and 2 very different sort of activities. One sort of like girly and fun and wedding celebration, and the other sports. So kind of got a range of activities in.
Did you play fun games at the bridal shower?
Yeah, so we played like gift bingo. So you had to like write in on a bingo card, things that you thought the bride was going to get, and you had to, mark them off once she opened them and, see if you got bingo. I did not, unfortunately.
Oh,
bummer. But I did win. So there was also a trivia game, which I thought was going to be trivia all about the bride. But the host was like, no, like all of you know her too well. So, this wouldn't be a very challenging game. So we're going to make it trivia about the groom. And of course, for me, the groom is Chris's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that actually ended up working out way better for me. Of course, like the bride got to play also. So she actually won. But since it was like a shower for her, she couldn't actually win. So I ended up knowing the most about the groom. Which I thought was funny because I beat out his own sister by one point, but I still did it. So
nice. Good work.
Yep. So yeah, that was fun.
Did you win your softball game?
We did. We won both of them.
Awesome.
So yeah, been a pretty good weekend for me.
Cool.
How about yourself, John? What have you been up to?
Spending time outside, hanging out at a local brewery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like a semi-normal activity, kind of.
Yeah.
Things we used to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Not too much else, I guess. Mowing lawn.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else I did, but I can't think of it at the moment. But it's been good. Pretty chill. We're going to start our demolition stuff here pretty soon, probably. So.
Oh, okay.
Kinda getting ready to get busy with that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Watching shows. Caught up on Housewives finally. We can get to that later.
Nice. All right.
So, yeah. All right. So we don't have a singular topic this week. I'll just see where it goes. Got a number of news stories. Do thank you if you're tuning in live, because I don't know what you're doing. Lovecraft Country is premiering
right now.
Right now. So yeah. But
yeah, I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. So like, why don't we just talk about that? Like, what do you know about this show? What it's going to be about? What it's like? I know we talked about it briefly before in a previous episode.
Yeah, I mean, so what I know of the show is that it's going to start out following a family who finds out that they've got an inheritance that they can go claim in Lovecraft Country, the sort of like New England-y farmhouse, original like colonial settlers kind of area. And they go on a road trip to go claim this inheritance. And along the way, and once they get there, they encounter, sort of real life horrors, because this is a Black family. So they do, and it's in Jim Crow era. So they do sort of encounter everyday sort of horrors in the form of racism, but then they also encounter like supernatural horrors that would be out of like a Lovecraft story.
Sure.
So
okay.
that is my understanding of, kind of the basic premise of the show. Like I said, I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to watch it. I can't believe I was kind of checking stuff out online. I mean, I know like people get early access to the show and stuff, but I just couldn't believe there were like already reviews posted. And I was like, keep away. Like, I don't want to read anything. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's streaming literally right now on HBO. And of course, will be available on all of like HBO's streaming platforms, Now, Go, Max, all of that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's good and hit for HBO, as we just talked in the last episode about their numbers, their subscriber numbers not being where they want it to be yet.
Right.
But
yeah, and they've got a great cast. I mean, Journey Smollett Bell is in it, otherwise known as Canary from Birds of Prey. And the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Just, throwing back to another show that we talked about recently.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I'm very excited about it.
In other HBO news, I saw this. Did you get to watch the trailer for the Undoing?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about it other than this trailer, and I'm excited. Nicole Kidman's in a thing, and it looks tense and exciting and stuff.
Yeah, it looks, like you said, it looks tense and exciting, but I definitely, from the trailer, could not tell what it is actually about. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was very deliberately vague, just sort of like teaser of intense moments of, emotional reactions or, like physical actions, like one person running to another kind of thing. And then I know some of the dialogue was saying, rich people get away with everything, but you have to hold them accountable for what they do. So I think
some sort of trial.
Yeah. So I think Nicole Kidman is, part of that whatever rich family that's, maybe trying to get away with something, and people are going to hold them accountable. So, but yeah, I mean, Nicole Kidman, I think, has really found a show goldmine with HBO. I mean, she's been in so many different things that have just been smash hits, like Big Little Lies was a major one for her. And then she just did another one with Reese Witherspoon that I thought was really fantastic as well. But yeah, anyway. So I mean,
Have I asked you, have you seen Big Little Lies? You watched that show?
I have, yes. And I read the book. It was excellent. Highly recommend.
Okay.
I have to caveat that though. I've only seen season 1. I haven't seen season 2, which I know is like a big departure from where the book leaves off. So
sure. Okay.
I can't speak to that. Although I can't imagine like adding Meryl Streep to that cast would, do any wrong.
Yeah, I always thought it looked interesting.
It's fun. It's good. It's excellently acted by everyone. And Alexander Skarsgård is in it, and he's also excellent.
That's the downside. That's too bad.
Talking to the ladies out there.
Yeah. Speaking of Skarsgård, isn't he in this other trailer, this Netflix movie? Not him, but a Skarsgård.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
All the time.
Yes. Yeah. His brother Bill is also fresh off his performance as Pennywise. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bill Skarsgård seems to be drawn to like the, real dark side of horror, whereas Alexander's on the more campy side of horror.
Of movies actually coming out, I have to say I am pretty excited for this one. I didn't know anything about it, and it looks like a different role for Tom Holland. And I love seeing now Robert Pattinson in all these like artsy films or different roles.
Yeah.
He gets to play like spoiled Noble in
The
what was
King.
that? The King we watched or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's a kind of weird, castaway guy trying to escape life in the lighthouse. I'm a fan. So
Yeah.
now he gets to be a corrupt
Preacher.
pastor
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I actually was really excited to see him in this. I wasn't sure when, he kind of popped on the screen and it was just like a visual of him. I was like, ooh, I'm not really sure that I believe this. And then he started talking and I was actually, all right, like, yeah, I feel the energy and I kind of felt his presence in the character. So I was more excited once I heard him kind of, have a few lines of dialogue. So
Yep. Yep. I talked to some friends this weekend that just went through and watched all the Twilight movies and just reminded of how far he's come.
Yeah, that's a humble beginning. Let's be real about that.
Well,
in terms of acting anyway.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I'm hopeful that movie's good. I'm excited because it's some stuff that's actually coming out. It's gonna be a with subscription I already have, kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's good to be able to look forward to some movies or some entertainment like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's very different kind of movie. Just from the trailer, it's I don't know what I would even classify it as, like kind of running through the trailer. I mean, it is kind of like an indie art house movie, but it did look a little more like it had some action sequences to it, in some of like the fights that were happening. So yeah, I'm interested to see like what the product is of this.
Mm-hmm. They remind me of just like kind of, I don't know. You remember when there were real movies that were like, I don't know, they feel like real movies that were still big stars, big budgets or whatever, but they weren't a superhero film. Kind of like I'm thinking of The Fugitive, back in the day when you had a movie called The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, and it just like kind of a crime drama thriller sort of thing that just we get less and less of these days, it seems like.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. I was kind of, I don't remember what I was watching the other day, but I was just watching like some, movie on TV or whatever, and was just thinking about how movies used to be so compact. You know what I mean? Like there was like a clear through engaging storyline. Like you said, something like The Fugitive, where it's like an hour and a half, you've got a big star, but they don't necessarily need to do like crazy big things to just like effectively tell this story in a shorter amount of time. And I miss that. I miss like everything not needing to be on this like huge grand scale. Like I enjoy things like the Avengers, but I also want something different. I don't want that every time I go to the movies. I don't need to see that for every single movie. So yeah, so this should be a good kind of break from that.
I did look what it's really like in terms of movies coming out, but I feel like you have dumb comedy that doesn't work out. You got kids movies, you've got giant superhero movies, or like some sort of political statement movie, and that's kind of what you get. Like those are the categories we have. And I mean, those are categories, but just, I don't know. We've complained plenty about their lack of originality, I guess, in Hollywood and stuff. And so
yeah, it
seems like they're trying more things on these other streaming things. So
yeah, which I appreciate because I feel like right now Netflix is stuck in this really weird space of like the same storyline for like 60 different romantic comedies. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I seriously, I feel like I've seen like the same advertisement for like the same movie just with different people. It's starting to feel a little like Hallmarky, like Hallmark Christmas season, like all of that.
Oh yeah.
it's like the same story, just different people, and you just like tweak it a little bit. And I know why Netflix is doing it, because you're definitely going to reach that, like, you know, housewifey middle-age audience who loves that kind of stuff. But I'm a little sick of that clogging up my queue right now. Or not my personal queue, but you know what I mean? Like the Netflix queue.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before we get on any other topics,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to try a little technical difficulties break, because I don't know if you can see, but my picture is trash. It's just so trash. So I'm just like try to reconnect here.
Sure.
Maybe like 20 seconds and just see what happens.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All right. Oh man, that's a little better. That's a little better. Not quite so muddy in the face. Okay. Thanks for bearing with us. Yes, all the things, all the movies coming to Netflix and stuff, and romantic comedies that you're tired of.
Yes, very, very tired. So hopefully this new movie, Devil All the Time, will be a little bit of a break from that.
Yes. But in terms of things, not a break from what we were just talking about, and honestly, the shows we choose to watch all the time.
Yeah.
DC Fandome is coming up, and that's a whole lot of superhero things.
That's right.
Next Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, it'll be a 24-hour event, all free to access, just like Comic-Con at home was. So you can watch the panels, quote unquote, that have been pre-recorded. You can watch those live as they're released every hour on those 24 hours, or I believe that there's a certain time that you can still log in and view them. I don't know if it's 24 hours after, just because I know like they're making accommodations, because of course you probably shouldn't stay up for 24 hours straight. But
oh, not a fan then. Fake fan.
Not a real fan. That's right. But yeah. Yeah, Ellen says my video is lower quality now than
oh my gosh.
Just the sacrifice we have to make. But yeah, so yeah, Fandome is happening next Saturday. You can access all the videos for free. And they've got some pretty great panels. I mean, they're going to dive deep into Wonder Woman 1984 with all of the stars. They're going to go into talking about Shazam 2, of course, with Zachary Levi. And I think possibly one other cast member that I'm not quite remembering right now. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to talk on a panel for Black Adam. The cast of Doom Patrol is going to talk on a panel. And then Snyder, of course, is going to talk about his cut of Justice League. And those are just a sampling.
That's the movie things, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's well, and Doom Patrol, which is TV as well. That's just like a sampling of some of the events that are happening. They've also got several game panels as well. I believe they're going to be talking about the Suicide Squad game from Rocksteady, and then a WB Games announcement that is possibly about a new Batman game. So,
Okay.
a lot
Interesting
happening.
if they're doing both. If they're doing both for games, if they're doing the Suicide Squad and another Batman game, that seems like a lot.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if they're going to do it, it just says like an exciting new game that they're going to reveal a first look at. Just rumors are basically floating around that.
Sure. Yep.
It's going to be Batman, but don't know.
So what are you most excited for?
Obviously, who am I? Who do I love? Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Okay, Black Adam. Yeah, all right.
So obviously that is what I'm most excited for. The thing that I'm honestly the most curious about and is most likely to draw me in just because it might trigger some rage is a panel called Multiverse 101. And it's described as get schooled in this engaging refresher course on the creation of the multiverse with DC chief creative officer, publisher, WB Pictures president, DC film production president, and DC TV producer. And
okay.
I mean, if they're just going to talk about the creation of a multiverse and like the things that have been done in like comics and on TV, like I won't be upset. But if they're going to talk about it in relation to film, which they do have the film, yes, they do have the film producer or film production president on, I'm feeling like I might be triggered.
So this is how. So we brought up the film producer. Yeah, this is the example of how to not do it. Here we're here to learn from the mistakes made by this person. And yeah, okay.
Right. If it's that, like, I'm all for it. That's great. But yeah.
So. Well, it kind of the sad thing about this event now, I guess. I'm hearing an echo. Am I coming through on someone's system here?
Oh, interesting.
But I or was I? So the
multiverse,
the event last week, I guess, or the announcement rather, of all the firings.
Yeah.
So it was a point that was brought up. You had hundreds of people fired from Warner here, and a bunch of these panels may have even been filmed or been hosted by people that are no longer at the company.
They were.
And really?
I know some of them were.
See, that's just sad.
That's going to be very awkward.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand. I'm sure it goes along with earnings and stuff, but what, it seemed like, couldn't you wait till after the event? I mean, does that seem shadier though? I don't know.
Right.
Like if you wait till after the event, and then I guess there's no good way to do it.
No, there really isn't.
Man, how terrible would you feel as one of those people that is running a panel or whatever as this, your version of online home Comic-Con, and then you get to watch it from home,
knowing
just been fired.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really awkward. I mean,
gotta hurt.
Basically, I think 80 to 90% of the panels, have the stars attached to them. So, I mean, with Wonder Woman, like 1984, obviously that panel is going to talk to the cast. The games might be a little awkward. The multiverse might be a little awkward depending on who's still there. But of course, they've got like, introducing the Flash, Suicide Squad with James Gunn, Black Adam, Aquaman, Shazam. The Batman. That's right. I forgot they are doing a feature of the new Batman. Yeah. They're talking to Matt Reeves though, not to Pattinson.
Okay.
So it does say there'll be a surprise for the fans, so perhaps.
It'll be Pattinson at his home gym finally working out. Okay, guys, I guess I'll do
I
it.
got real
I'll
abs.
keep
I didn't
working
get them
out.
drawn on like I did in Twilight, I swear. Yeah.
Yeah, but just as we were talking about how I'm a fan now of Pattinson's change and track here,
Hmm.
I still agree so much when we're talking about how maybe he should have been a Nightwing kind of character or
Yeah.
something. You know, be the slender, athletic kind of acrobat
Hmm.
versus the potential like martial arts bruiser of a
Hmm.
Batman kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you're ever going to convince me that Pattinson is the perfect Batman choice just based on his build and his previous acting work, but I'm willing to give him more of a chance than I was previously. That's
Yeah.
unfortunately all I can really say right now about that. So,
I still think it's ultimately the same as like Michael Keaton. I think Michael Keaton's one of the best Batmans, and he wasn't like, oh, Michael Keaton, that makes perfect sense for being Batman. He's not
right,
a giant, Hulk of a person, but
right.
I thought it was great. So
He had maturity though. That's
yeah,
where I kind of differentiate like Pattinson. He still looks so young to me. And perhaps, there's going to be some great, hair and makeup and there, I don't
mhm.
know. There's just going to be a sense there, a gravitas that was maybe missing, I think, before. So maybe my fears will be laid to rest. But yeah, that's where I mean I agree about the build. Of course, like Michael Keaton isn't the natural like. Of course he's Batman, um, but
Yep.
he just had the maturity I thought to be Bruce Wayne. So
Yep. Well, I'd love to see 30 to 60-second teasers of Shazam and Black Adam. And
yeah,
if Doom Patrol season 3 is officially announced, I haven't heard of it.
hmm,
So that'd be cool if we got that.
yeah, that would be
But I
very cool.
honestly myself don't want to see any more of Wonder Woman 1984. I just want it to come out,
Sure, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
that would be the event. Like after this event, it's it's live. It's up on streaming services. Go
right.
watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, they're definitely not promising anything with that panel, like, surprise reveal or whatever. It's definitely just
Right.
going to be
Mhm.
like, let's chat with the cast, which I think is the right move because, yeah, like it just needs to come out already. So just, let the cast, maybe have some fun, chat it up, and then you make a big announcement maybe about its release. Who knows? So I'm
That
hopeful.
would be good. That would
Um,
be good.
the other panel that I'm excited for that I totally forgot about until this moment is the Lucifer panel because Lucifer
Oh,
season
okay. Yeah.
5 part 1 is going to be premiering on Netflix this coming Friday, and I am psyched. I love that show.
Nice.
So I will definitely probably have things to say about that in our next show next weekend.
So, how was that show in terms? I mean, to me, besides being bitter about the like Constantine thing with it, I was wondering,
Mhm.
like, does it feel like a CW show, or does it have more credibility than that? Like, is it more grounded,
Yeah,
acting, production? How does it stack up?
I think it's definitely got a little better quality than a CW show. It starts out maybe a little campy, but I mean,
Yeah.
Lucifer is a very playful and campy kind of character, especially in the beginning because he's having fun. He's like, I don't want to rule hell. I'm just going to be here on Earth, run a nightclub, you know, do my thing. And then it really picks up steam as the seasons go on. And that's where I think I would say maybe like second, third season, it really finds this like great grounding and a solid like supporting cast that just like gels so well that it makes everything, you know, more urgent, more real, and makes the problems bigger in a good way. Do you know what I mean? Like they feel like they're
Yep.
tackling more and they're getting more into the mythology of the universe in a good way.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I quite enjoy
Someday. Someday.
it.
um. Okay. Well, that's DC Fandome. I
Mhm.
do really hope that it's a fun event, and that we learn some cool things. I don't really have. Oh, well, I guess I can do this. Is with we're just talking about your TV show Lucifer.
Yeah.
Other TV shows that I love, but have been of the past.
Yes.
Was G4 Television, the network G4 TV. Did you
Yes.
used to watch, or do you know of G4 TV?
I absolutely used to. Yes.
Okay. So I remember back in the day, it was Tech TV. Might have been something before that even, but I got on board when it was Tech TV. And it's fun because they had a show called The Screensavers, and Leo Laporte, the guy who does that show, actually, he branched off later and made his own kind of network. Like he has his own thing called twit.tv, and many shows are on there every day. They're always live streaming and all that stuff. So I'm happy they're still going and stuff. But after Tech TV, it transitioned to G4 TV, and it's, took on the Tech TV had a gaming part to it with Adam Sessler. Well, then it became G4 TV, and it was all about games pretty much. And the teaser the other weekend during the Comic-Con stuff was that G4 TV is coming back or something's happening.
Yes.
And now it sounds like Olivia Munn is in talks to return. What's your history with G4 TV? Are you excited about this? What do you think it's going to be?
So G4 TV, I didn't watch myself, or I wasn't really introduced to it. But it was the channel that was always on in the sushi bar that I worked at.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It was the channel that was always on before we opened and before like customers came in, and then, we like switched to things like, oh, it's like the news and the sports, whatever game, you know what I mean?
Oh, I thought this was going to be a cool place. What did you do? You could have left it on.
Well, unfortunately, if the customer requests it, that's kind of part of your service capacity.
Sure.
But yeah, so the G4 was always on TV when I would walk into the sushi bar and start my prep work. So I just kind of like started watching vicariously, and then kind of got into it and would look forward to like the shows that I would watch before work every day.
Nice. Well, I have to say, there's not been I really, really enjoyed the TV, particularly in the earlier days of G4 TV and then Tech TV that they brought forward. It was some of the, gaming news before largely was a magazine. I used to be subscribed to EGM and different gaming magazines. Then those started to die out more, and there was the online websites. But something like G4 TV, that was the place that really put you on the ground at events like E3 and Gamescom and different stuff. And they had, along with it, this was like earlier days of the internet in terms of multimedia online. So there wasn't just like videos everywhere online of everybody and their sister reviewing video games and such.
Right.
And so it was really kind of a great source for that stuff. And it just happened that Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler were really good, fun hosts. And then they started doing skits and stuff. And I have really great fond memories of it. It got a little wackier and zanier later as they kind of branched out more and leaned more into the sketches and like late night kind of almost things. And Olivia Munn was a big part of that era for sure. So I don't know. I just wonder, like, to me, it always seems silly that they couldn't, and I guess it's, because they were owned by a cable company and whatever, but it was just such a failure of seeing the future that they didn't switch over to like just an online presence. I'll be surprised if this comes back as an actual television network, and I think it'd be really short-sighted and weird if they would do that. It should just be a live streaming network.
I agree.
So I hope that's what it is. I hope they get back some of the original people. I've missed Adam Sessler. He rants about weird things he seemed like he got burnt out. He got burnt out of like like toxic nerd culture, and he's a middle-aged man playing in a world where there's a whole bunch of tweens, that are online just being mad at each other. So like, I get it, but I hope he's had time to, relax and do some other
Reconsider.
things. Yeah, and now come back, and so I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see where that goes. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I agree. I think it would be a mistake to come back as a TV channel, and I just honestly don't see there being space for more TV channels. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean just for them. I just feel like there's just like nothing more TV channel wise to do.
Yep. It's someone like it. Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, they could have been like Jeff Keighley at this point.
Yeah.
Like if they had stuck with it. They're in the industry. They've been around, and they could have easily branched on their own, really put in the effort, and they still maintain those connections. And I mean, they could have their own gaming empire at this point, or, they could be getting the hot exclusives to things. And I guess that's not what they wanted. There's a lot of people our age that grew up with, that going to them for gaming news and content.
Right.
And yeah, I would love to see something that's, they could get together all kinds of panels of people, different discussions, different topics. And it would be like what IGN does in a way, or whatever, but they can be not IGN.
Right.
And I think there's space for that because there's a lot of gaming places out there, but a lot of it's not always that high production value. You can have, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Their tagline, I think, was "We never stop playing." So I don't know. Hopefully, to me and in my mind, that means we didn't like burn the bridges we'd built in the past and our connections made. So
right. Yeah, they didn't stop playing. They were just pausing for a while.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. In other gaming news, I guess I want to talk about, I'll talk about that last before we get to Housewives, because it's kind of the big one. And I guess I'll, I don't know, rant about it a little bit, I guess. You found a big Xbox sale going on?
Yeah, that's right. So there are a bunch of games that are approximately like 65% off. There are a few that are available on Game Pass as well. But a lot of these are like the physical copies. But yeah, they've got like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Dragon Ball Z, Metal Gear Solid, Mortal Kombat, Red Dead Redemption, Res Evil 2, 3, 4, Witcher 3. So some really great titles that are just, I mean, insanely low prices right now. Like Witcher 3 is normally $40. It's on sale for $12. So
they always put that. It's always just one of the best deals in gaming, period. They always put that thing on sale, and it's
crazy.
I should say PlayStation is having a summer sale as well right now. So
nice.
All systems, it's Witcher 3 on PlayStation is $12. Is what you said it was on Xbox as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to see a bunch of stuff like that. Deals under $15.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have new stuff, new consoles. It's a good time to buy things if you want. Most of these, this is a digital sale, I think. I don't think it is physical.
Oh,
so
okay.
That'd be the bigger difference. No, on the PlayStation one, that is.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Xbox one for sure.
I was gonna say for the Xbox, they marked specifically which ones were going to be available via Game Pass and with like a Xbox Gold membership. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but PlayStation in the earnings, or Sony, they recently revealed how, like, they showed what the big divide is between physical sales and digital sales now.
Yeah.
And digital sales are really winning out. Like it's definitely becoming the standard. And I mean, I get it. I like going to things, but at the same time, sure is nice to play Fall Guys and then just go to the home menu and then play Prey,
Yeah.
or whatever, like switching whenever I want,
Without
it's
switching
pretty
discs.
nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty handy. Pretty handy. So, and then it's, it brings up the question for me, like, am I going to get the discless version of the PS5 or the disc version? Like, I really going forward would love the discless one, but at the same, because I'm sure it'll be cheaper. But at the same time, I have physical games for the PS4 that will be compatible on the new thing, and I'd like to potentially be able to still play them. So,
right.
I don't know. We'll see how that
maybe
goes.
Maybe it might take you one more generation.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, go get games. They're on sale.
That's right.
Good. Then you saw this Nintendo stuff. So this is very like, I don't know what the word for it is. This is very there's very weak connections here to truth. It's definitely very rumor.
Yes.
Kind of
yes,
thing.
totally. And I just was excited because I was like, oh my God, like Nintendo. When was the last time we had anything to say about Nintendo? You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, well, the one obviously is happening, and then the other one is pure rumors. So the GameCube game Killer 7 is coming to Nintendo Switch. And I hadn't heard of it. I don't know if you had, but apparently it's like kind of a cult classic, favorite. So that it will be available for Nintendo Switch. And then Nintendo teased with a very vague social media post of Super Mario enjoying some sunshine that perhaps Super Mario Sunshine would be coming to the Switch as well. Or that's the way people are interpreting it. I think it's been like one of the longest hope, but yeah.
Well, I have to say, letting Mario's anniversary go by this year, if they don't release some Mario games, some of their back catalog remaster or whatever on the latest system, is quite a missed opportunity.
Absolutely.
So whether that's what they were intending to do and have had trouble adapting to different work styles, I don't know, or if it's just whatever. But like Mario Sunshine's been in the rumor mill for a long time. It's been on everybody's wish list to get Mario 64, give that a new coat of paint, to put it on the Switch.
Right.
So I don't know. It just because next year I think is a big Zelda anniversary.
Yes, it is.
So you need to get some of those Mario games out this year, and I don't know. I'm gonna give Nintendo a thumbs down this year if they don't surprise us with something. Yeah. I mean, it's been
they're running out of time.
In my book. Yeah. Despite Animal Crossing, you can't let your system survive on one, And I get they got all kinds of third-party stuff. I
mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like that's a cornerstone. Everybody knows Super Mario. So if they don't do something, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be Super Mario Sunshine, although obviously that would be, a win in everybody's book, but something.
They delivered Paper Mario. Yeah. It's just that's always been like the most niche element of Mario, and so I don't know. They've got Animal Crossing, so they've got the money. But you're gonna lose the respect of the fans here.
Don't rest on those laurels, Nintendo. I mean, come on, get some other.
I honestly just wish they were more open about it. It's not like Microsoft has released much for exclusives in the last generation either. Like Nintendo's already had them beat, but still, like, just let us know, give us your presentation, tell us what we can expect.
Yeah.
But
I mean that social media post is cute, but like I just need like a little something more than that. But like I said, I was just very excited to like see any Nintendo news basically at all, because I feel like we've talked so much PlayStation and Xbox. It was just like, Nintendo might be doing something.
Sure. Yep. And like I say, I don't want to discount it because there's, the other systems rely a lot on third-party titles as well, and there's quite the bevy of third-party titles available for the Switch that are great. So,
Right.
I didn't put it in here, but I should mention how. So I talked about Fall Guys, I think, before. Have I mentioned that on here? Fall Guys?
Yeah, for sure.
That game has been blowing up. And I've been
Yeah.
trying to tell everybody I know that has a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Plus. If you don't have PlayStation Plus, you should get it to get this game. Like buy a month of it or something to get this game, because then you can play it. But it's been blowing up. Streamers have gotten tired of, I've seen some anyways, have gotten tired of the bugs in Call of Duty Warzone and different stuff. And it's just such a lighthearted, fun thing. They do such a good job with their social media, Twitter account. It's just everything around this game is a joyous, fun, cheeky, good time. And I can't recommend it highly enough for just goofing around with your friends. It's great. So
nice.
Yep. If you don't have PlayStation, then you can pick it up on PC too. So you got to buy it there though. Then before we get to real silliness, real ridiculousness, Housewives, I want to talk a little bit about the stuff Apple's been involved with here now. And this is gaming related again as well, but in under, within the span of 2 weeks, I've been both on the side of Apple and against Apple. The other week when it came out that Apple was pulling the xCloud from their store and from Microsoft and not allowing game streaming from anyone. I'm like opposed to that pretty strongly because it's not consistent with their rules. Doesn't make sense. If your whole thing is we can't review each thing, well, it's not consistent, as I said before, with something like Netflix or Amazon Prime that's readily available on your service, and you don't custom review every show that's on there.
Right.
So I just think they're in the wrong there. I think they're going to have to change their tune on that, or lose out on a big market. And maybe they'll wait until it is a bigger market and then change policy. I don't know, but I just think that's going to have to change, because there's the only other thing they could do is offer their own game streaming service, but you're going to be hammered with anti-competitive stuff. There's already always, in the EU, there's litigation and all this stuff. So I just don't see them having a choice ultimately but now we have this week Fortnite or Epic Games. So Fortnite went out and they put in their own payment system into Fortnite on iOS and Google. You're supposed to provide it, like go through their channels for the payment system. So bypassing it, and immediately they got taken off on the iOS store. Google followed up and did the same then a little bit later as well. And Epic was, of course, ready with a video imitating Apple's first commercial with the 1984 person running down the hallway or whatever, not hallway, in the theater and throwing a sledgehammer into the screen. They had this thing all set up in like Fortnite thing and say they defied Apple and whatever.
Right.
This I'm on Apple and Google's side. And I'll be interested to see what you think about it if you've followed it at all. Sure. But Fortnite is upset. Epic is upset because they're getting a cut of every sale that's made in their game.
Apple and Google are
cut. Yeah. They get cut. And this is the way it's been on app stores, software stores, whatever, since the beginning. If the platform is providing an online store, sometimes potentially advertisements or whatever, they're running the security checks on your things, and then they get a piece of that company gets a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Well, so on PC, they're happy because PC is an open platform pretty much. And so you can have your own store, your own launcher. You can install apps from wherever you want. on PC. And it's at your own risk because you're expected to know what you're doing, run an antivirus, whatever, you know?
Yep.
As we move to platforms that are a little more closed, like iOS and to a lesser extent Android, they on Android they tried running just offering Fortnite through the Samsung Galaxy Store or whatever, and they eventually caved and put it on the Google Play Store as well. So I don't know. They're getting pissy about this. I think, look, you might think the price that Apple takes and Google takes is unfair, but it's their store. If clearly, you know, when they chose to put it on, you know, first they were telling you to sideload Fortnite on your Android device. Well, then people were getting in trouble on their phone there because, you know, that's a big ask of people who are used to just clicking install. They don't know what's going on. So they caved, and that it's important enough to put it on the apps, the Google Play Store. Well, clearly you've made your choice now. You'd rather have it be accessed by people and pay this service or whatever. I don't know. What do you think? I've ranted a bit here, so.
No, I mean, I agree, especially in the sense of, you know, when you do something like this and put your app onto an app store, it's not like you go in and do it and then they tell you what cut they're going to take. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like backloaded information. You have that information up front. And yeah, I do believe that there are ways to fight against a monopoly if you believe the pricing is unfair. You know, like, by all means, if you truly believe, like, okay, this is like getting too much, they're having too much control, you know, maybe we start like a third kind of, you know, a third party app store, something, find another way to fight back. If you feel that this is unfair, go ahead and do it. Like, nobody's saying you shouldn't do that if you feel, you know, you're being mistreated. But I think to do this, try to utilize that platform and then like backdoor your way into like, oh, use, you know, like pay for your in-app purchases through our things so that we don't have to give our cut to Apple and Google. That's not okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't weasel your way in there, use the platform, and then say like, we'd like to keep all the benefits and pay them way less.
Yep. You know, and look, I get it. You know, I think that if something action should be taken, it should be like, can we renegotiate?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
know,
talk to other services who use, you know, put their games or, you know, any sort of app on the App Store and get a collective together and say like, listen, we want to renegotiate or X is going to happen. You know,
they could tell them on
happen, but yeah.
They could go to Google and say, hey, we'll give you updates to Fortnite first. If you give us a better deal than Apple over here, or we'll give your customers a X amount of discount, you know, incentivize, they buy more things on here. If you give it, you know, and that gets tricky then, because then other companies will start being, well, I want that deal too. Well, what can you bring to the table? Like, it is a discussion. I just think there's these aren't platforms, just, I guess it's how you view a platform. But to me, a platform is not just like, well, anyone's invited, anything goes, it's whoever's rules. Like, this is just open to all, you know, like, it's just, that's not what it is. Like, Google and Apple have made these platforms. They own these platforms, and that's all there is to it. They can do what they want with them. And you don't like it, you don't like it. Like, Fortnite could just be on PC only if they wanted. If they have their own Epic Game Store launcher, it's great. They give away free games and stuff, and be there. There you go. You get all your money. Amazon, what they do is, when you're in like the Kindle app or anything Amazon, and you want to buy something, it's frustrating and it's not good for the customer, I would argue, but they make the call that you can't buy something in the app. You have to go to the website to buy it. I mean, you ever try that on your like a Kindle app? You want to buy a book. How do I buy this? No, you got to go to the website. So we get the full amount of money, and then it will be delivered to your device. You can do that. You know, it's nicer to the customer to not, but I understand that you want to take the full amount. So there you go. That's what your option is. Fortnite could do the same thing.
Right.
If you want to buy V-Bucks, you want to buy credits in our game, you got to go to epic.com, log in and buy them, and then you get the full amount. Like,
exactly.
there you go.
Yep. That's a way to fight back
that,
against, Apple and Google that doesn't, like undercut in the store. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's not a workaround of the direct cut that Apple and Google are taking.
Yep. I just don't, I follow a tech guy that I respect quite a bit in terms of his opinions on things, but he's always been about, this, I guess, anti-competitive element or how he sees it. And I just, I'm kind of tired of it. I don't, you don't like it, leave. That's my thing. You don't like it, make your own thing.
Yeah.
So, and because we do have open platforms. There's the iOS is a closed platform for a reason. I mean, it's been opening up more, but it's a closed ecosystem for a reason, and you get a lot of benefits out of that.
Right.
Like it's not the Wild West that you have on PC. Like even on Mac, like they're expected that the apps you get from there are vetted, are virus free, are safe and secure. You can log in. I mean, how easy is it to in an app click pay and then pay with your face and it's done. You don't have to do anything else. You're not going through anyone else. You know it's safe and secure. Like those are benefits that that's what they're charging for. That's why they get a cut.
Right. And it takes manpower to do all of that. You know what I mean? You're not just like paying a faceless corporation to just like run a program. You're paying an actual person in a sense. You know, like, you're paying the workers who do that work.
So, and I still think like if there's room for this, it's in the discussion on the amount of the cost. Like it was a big thing a while ago, like, hey, developers can't make money here because there's so many apps. There's more than an app for that. There are several. There are sometimes dozens for each thing. And so it's easy to get drowned out and not be brought up to the spotlight. Well, they switched to everybody focusing on subscription models, which is fine. And so that's like people want to do that. But there is going to be this point where, developers, I mean, ultimately as a platform, that's one of the important things is keep the majority of your developers happy. And so if you're getting too many developers that are unhappy with you, that they'll move to another platform, they'll move somewhere else. They'll take their business to just being a web app or something. They'll bypass you. That's when they'll have to start changing things. Right. And that just has not happened to this point, So you've just got the people that are really big that are making millions and millions and millions of dollars that are the most upset about it here, it seems. So
yes.
Anyways, that's my little spiel on that. So.
Yeah, it's not like Fortnite's not making money. It's not some like indie, like small time, only a few select gamers have heard of it. So just cool your jets, Fortnite.
At me in the chat or whatever, someplace. Or you can at me if you disagree. That's fine.
John, you're just
I know there's lots to do. So
you're like, I could keep going.
No, ultimately, like I say, it comes down to a fundamental difference in how you view a platform, what that is. It's like Facebook. Facebook is a platform, but it's also its own company, and I don't like how they run things. I don't like a lot of the things that they do, but they can do it. Like it is up to them. It's their platform. You can do what you want with it, and I chose that I don't like their inconsistency in the way they do things. So I left.
Right.
That's the way it is.
Right.
So
nobody's forcing you to use it.
Right. Okay. Before we get to the final topic of Real Housewives, which I finally caught up on today.
Nice.
I should ask if you're drinking anything. Like normally at the beginning of the show.
Well, I mean, I am, but it's just a Gatorade because I was out in the heat, the 80+ degree heat, playing my softball game.
Gatorade.
Gatorade. So yeah, so I just needed a little recovery juice after my games.
Sure.
How about
Yeah.
yourself? What have you been drinking? Do you bring anything home from the brewery?
I did. That's what I have. Yep. Yep. It's a
What do you got?
sour beer that they have.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like a strawberry cream sour.
How is it?
It's very good. It's just light and pretty mellow and refreshing. So
Nice.
yep.
Yeah. I feel like
Definitely.
sours are just, becoming a real thing, which I enjoy. I did not enjoy sours at first, but now I'm like really.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't right away when they started to come around, and it didn't take too long, and because I feel like I don't know, maybe it was just me and I was tasting it wrong, but seeing that first, like they were hitting in the face too much or things weren't balanced enough. Now there's quite the catalog of sours available, and a lot of them are pretty good.
I feel like sours have found their stride in pairing with fruit flavors. You know what I mean? Like I've definitely tasted a sour that is not like, it was just like a straight up sour beer. It wasn't, any sort of fruit, and that was really tough. That was my first sour, and that was a lot of sour smacking me right in the face. But now that
I need to try
fruits, it's like it's really hitting its stride with the mainstream, I think.
Right. Have you had much for dank beers?
Dank beers? No.
Yeah, it's like one brewery out here around makes a beer called Dank Bot, and yeah, beers will be described as dank, and I had to see if this catches on more or whatever. It's been around for a while. I haven't seen a lot of them since, so maybe it's not. But I didn't like it at first. But I thought maybe that'd be the same thing. Is all of a sudden they'd blow up, and then there'd be a lot of choices, and I would gravitate towards them again. But
sure.
Usually
hazy IPAs. Alan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Hazy IPA, yeah. So guess I need to try more of them.
I do enjoy a hazy IPA.
Okay, so yeah. You wouldn't describe your hazy IPA as dank?
I would not, no. I also, the first hazy IPA I had was like a pineapple hazy. So I would not describe that as dank. Because that was at, oh gosh, what was the brewery right outside the escape room we did? Head Flyer? Was that Head Flyer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first hazy, that pineapple that they had. That was excellent. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, they have good stuff there.
Yeah.
Well, from beer to ladies that have had too much of it, or some form of alcohol, Real Housewives.
A lot of wine.
Yeah. A lot of vodka sodas. I tell you, a lot of sodas.
Come on, Dorit. Get out of your vodka soda.
All right. So where do you want to start? I'm watching Potomac, New York, Beverly Hills. All of them that are running right now.
Right. I am only watching the latter two, Beverly Hills and New York. That's all I seem to find the time for.
All right. So where do you want to go? What's stood out to you? And
well, I mean, I feel like we have to wrap up Beverly Hills. I mean, at least this trip, because it's really like the crux of, the entire issues that Denise Richards has had with the rest of the cast. Obviously, the past couple weeks, like she's gotten some bombs thrown at her during this like Italian trip that the girls have been taking together. She had some accusations thrown at her that she said some things behind the other girls' backs when she was talking to Brandi Glanville. Brandi Glanville also told, some of the girls that she and Denise had slept together, and that came out at like this big kind of reveal dinner that Denise felt like she got ambushed at. Which I can't say that she's wrong on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so
you're just like, like we're gonna dance around the topic but still be angry, and then suddenly we're just gonna like lobby it at you. So yeah.
Mm. Do you have a side you're on, is like that, or is it you're just taking it and you're kind of see points on all the sides, or
I would say a little bit of that. So here, after watching, kind of this last week, my thoughts on that are, I did not appreciate the way that like this came out in the open. It was very weird. Like it was like, oh, we all have a
Mhm.
secret. We should tell her. Should we not tell her? It was very like
Yeah.
high school. It was so weird. And then it was just like unresolved for a while. And then they tried to bring it up again. And then there was just like a lot of like high intensity emotions, and they couldn't resolve it again, which was annoying. But then this week, you know, Denise kind of got to say some of what she wanted to say. She had sit down
Mhm.
with some of the women that I think went very well. Like she and Erica,
Yeah.
I mean, and she and Erica were last week, but she and Erica had like this great, kind of moment where they were like, we should just get our shit out here, and, we want to go back to having fun. So let's just resolve this. I thought that went very well. And then this
Mhm.
week she talked to Rinna, which I definitely think needed to happen,
Yep.
because I agree that, like, I agree with Denise in the sense of she thought like Rinna should have warned her that all this was coming. And I agree with that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like Rinna was like
Yeah.
privy to all this. She was sort of like in the gossip. She was like, "Ooh, like this is so juicy," when she was like talking with Teddy and Kyle about it. And I think she got
Yeah.
swept up in a little bit of like, I'm in the inner circle and I know things and I know what's coming. And really, she should have been stopping and being like, "Listen, I was friends with Denise way longer than I've been friends with these ladies.
Yeah.
Like, if they're gonna drop this on her, I should give her a heads up."
Yep.
So
Yep.
I definitely agreed with that, and I thought that that sort of like
Mhm.
breakfast talk that they had really needed to also happen.
Yep.
Now, do I like believe everything that Denise has been saying? I don't know that I do.
It's not coming off well,
It's
you
not.
know?
Um,
Like, it doesn't seem that resolute. I feel like if I was telling the truth about this stuff, it would be very like, this happened, and there would be no mixed signals or
yeah,
confused message.
yeah. Well, and she did admit this week that she did talk to Brandy Glanville, and they did have some like back and forth about some of the other girls, and some kind of behind their back
Yeah. Hmm.
conversation. Um, so I mean, she did come out and be like, "Yeah, I like had some stuff to say, but I don't know why Brandy told them
Hmm.
those things, because I didn't say those things."
Right.
So I do think that that's interesting, and perhaps like Brandy Glanville was like telling people like the things that she said to Denise and just like pretending that Denise said them instead. I don't really know, you know, because I feel like it would be
Yeah.
odd that Denise would admit to being like, yeah, I talked some smack behind their backs, but I didn't say this, if
Right.
it, wasn't true. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It was, maybe that was the hesitation, was she knows that she had been part of a conversation that wasn't putting all the ladies in the best lights. It wasn't super positive. So she got flustered there, and not
right,
knowing, like, she feels guilty about that yet or whatever.
right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, being honest, because it's going to come out later, because she did talk about that in her confessional there, then, or whatever, how, yeah, I agreed. Brandy said this and I agreed.
Yeah,
So, I mean, okay, technicality,
yeah,
um, but yeah, I mean, like, during this whole trip, I've been happy with how Dorit has acted, how
yeah,
Garcelle has acted,
yes,
and I felt bad for Denise, though I don't think has handled it the best she could.
I agree.
The rest of the ladies have been pretty disappointing,
I
honestly,
totally,
in my book. So,
yeah. I,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, although I have to say I've been like maybe neutral on Sutton. Like
sure,
she
yeah,
hasn't
she has seemed pretty, yes, she's
terrible,
been,
but she's been great.
mhm.
So she's okay.
She's been kind of uninvolved a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
I agree. And I'm interested to see what comes next because I mean, apparently this is going to continue because the other ladies are going to meet with Brandy Glanville without Denise,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Brandy is going to defend her side of the story
Yeah.
by saying, she has text messages, which honestly feels so repeat of last year with the whole like puppy
Yeah.
groups and like I've got the text messages to prove blah. And
Yeah.
I went snooping around the internet and looked at, some of the screenshots that they're saying, Brandy Glanville's using to prove that, she was with Denise. And I'm like, these are just
It's
like,
weak, isn't it?
it's super weak sauce.
It was the same. Yeah, exactly. Like last year, is this like you say, because um Teddy was all about, look, I can prove this. See, look at this. And then it's like, doesn't this just kind of incriminate yourself? I was
Yeah,
so confused
I,
because like, how does this help you? I must be missing something.
right,
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, she thought it was like this smoking gun, and it really turned out to be like a
Yeah.
pile of nothing. Yeah, this
Hmm.
this honestly feels the same way because, like, from looking at those texts, it only proves that Brandy Glanville was there, which Denise has never said didn't happen.
Right.
I mean, like
It
Brandy
was
was
over. We
like,
recorded a podcast.
"Yeah,"
Yeah.
right? Which Denise was like, "Yeah, I recorded the podcast with her. She was with me." Like, yeah, I don't see how this proves anything.
I mean, I know when you're in the hot seat, it gets more difficult, but she should have been able to say, look, Brandy and I have met like 3 times. We've
Right.
had minor text conversations between because of the podcast that we shot together. I don't know her real well or whatever.
Yeah.
But we were on good terms till
This.
until I hear this. Yeah.
Yeah.
we were fine, friendly or whatever until all this. So that's all you would need to say. Instead of was, yeah, people were confused. Like but you say you don't barely know her, but
Right.
you're talking to her all the time, and yeah.
Yeah. She was a little like, unclear about her exact nature of her relationship with Brandy. Even though I feel like we all sort of guessed it by what everybody was saying and what she was saying. But yeah, she just should have been a
Right.
little more like, yeah, I had some conversations, like, maybe I said some things I'm not proud of. Like we had some, moments where we were just like going on a rant because we were frustrated about whatever. But I mean, she's not my best friend or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just
Yep.
connected and now question mark because
Yep. Well, we saw now on this trip, I think more than usual, the ladies really went up, try to go above and beyond to glam up.
yeah,
Um, who do you think won out? Because sometimes they're always trying to dress nice or whatever, bring your
yeah,
glam squad, whatever. But I just really felt like they were trying to always have a theme, or it was above and beyond.
yes, yeah. I mean, I felt like Dorit was really stepping up and trying to get
Mhm.
in the arena with Erica. You know what I mean? Like Erica's always
Yeah,
putting together outfits and kind of basing her look off of where they are. And I felt like Dorit felt in Italy that this should be her turf. You know what I mean? Like she should
sure.
step it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I think she did.
yeah.
Uh,
I,
besides the one dinner look that I loved from Erica, and I know you didn't love like the birdcage veil that she had going on, but like the rest of that
mhm.
outfit with that like huge dramatic skirt, I just was absolutely in love with all of that. I felt like Dorit crushed it this trip.
Yep. I mean, I agree, and I didn't think at that point because Dorit, I always think to me is the most fashionable and just always on point, pretty
Mhm.
much. But Erica does like to do these kind of, I guess, over the top. Like the other year, she did the red
Oh, loved
latex or
that
whatever.
in
You
Germany.
know, like
Yeah.
larger than life. So where Dorit is looking very fashionable and like to the nines, perfection, while being trendy. Eric is like, I'm putting on a costume,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I'm like, so yeah, I felt like there was more of that on Eric this time, and yeah, it was cool to see, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
I did
okay,
before we move on from the Italy trip, I did love Sutton's total shade about Buca di Beppo.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She didn't know what it was.
I'm not trying to mean. I just don't know it. Yeah. I just
Right.
don't, never heard of it.
So great.
I don't know how to
So
say
fun.
it. Yeah. I mean, she probably doesn't know what it is,
Right.
right?
Like,
But she could have been like,
one.
what's that?
I mean, she's probably never been in one. Like, it's not like 5-star, gourmet cuisine.
No.
It's, we
No.
got one here in like Minneapolis, St. Paul. Like, it's down home kind of family restaurant. It's a chain, so it's not like totally exclusive. But yeah, just I don't know. That whole segment to me was hilarious.
It was funny.
That out.
Oh man.
Some levity that was definitely needed amidst the rest of the drama for sure.
Yep. Okay. New York.
Yes.
I was gonna try to remember to ask you something. What was it? Like, are you a fast shooter? Are you a quick draw? I don't remember Sonia. She's talking about Leah and stuff.
Yes.
I thought there was a lot of hilarity involved with that whole thing. They're always making fun of each other for being like in heat or whatever. And yeah.
I do love that they were like, yeah, well, Leah's a whole lot younger than all of us, so of course she can get it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I always think it's got to be so awkward. Every time you have a tennis trainer or a yoga instructor or someone on there, this has got to be so awkward for them.
Those two fitness trainers that were there, and Dorinda and Luann were just like, wow.
Yep. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's funny, but it's cringeworthy too. So
it is. There are definitely moments where you're just like, ooh, not every guy. They really do. I mean, if there's one good thing, I guess they don't discriminate. They're not very like picky.
Not very choosy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Luann and Leah just bump into these guys on the beach, and they're not like sexy superstars or anything. They're pretty average guys. They're whatever. And they're just like, hey, come on to the house, come to dinner. Like, let's do this.
Yep.
So good for Leah though, getting some vacation action.
Yep. How'd you think about the rest of the trip? I mean, I'm just tired of Dorinda at this point.
I am. And it's a bummer because there were a string of episodes where I really enjoyed her. And I really enjoyed her calling Ramona on some of her shit. And then
oh, sure, yeah.
And then earlier, I felt like really early in the Mexico trip, I was like, thank God somebody's putting Sonia to bed and trying to like calm her down, because Sonia was just so much. Like I couldn't even handle Sonia. She wasn't even fun drunk. She was just like, my God, please get out of my face. And then Dorinda unfortunately took an abrupt turn into like, I don't need that much of you either. Like you're just ranting at the drop of a hat about everything, and you just need to chill and pause.
Yep. Well, it just floored me in this last episode where she literally blows up at Sonia and Leah for having oh, where aren't we on vacation together or whatever? You're here on your devices, how rude and stuff. And then later she gets a phone call at the table.
Right.
Stays there and talks.
Right. Yeah.
No self-awareness. What's that?
The hypocrisy is astounding.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, Leah and Sonia were just doing some work out on the patio. It's not like they were called down to breakfast and then brought their work. They just like decided to do it, and then Dorinda decided it was breakfast time. So, I mean, that's not rude then. You're saying like basically now I'm just like gonna interrupt your time.
Right.
So
ridiculous.
Yes.
I have to say.
Yes.
Any other big highlights or anything from New York? I feel like I'm forgetting something from last week's.
I know.
episode probably that happened that was bigger or whatever, but
Well, I mean,
I'm tired of
Leah and Ramona finally, obviously resolved their issues after that was feeling like it was going to drag out
sort
forever.
of.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat,
Yeah.
something at least. They had a conversation.
Because as I was going to say, I'm tired of that stuff as well with them. Like, just leave Leah alone, man.
Yeah, she's honestly the most fun. Like, I love her. And she needs to keep being on that show. So everybody needs to leave her alone because I don't want her to not come back.
Yep. And I've liked Luann quite a bit this season. Not always. There was that time in the Berkshires where it's like, oh my God, she's going on after Sonia and stuff. Fine, don't be in my show, all this stuff or whatever.
Well, she got so nasty about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, so I didn't like that.
Yeah, like she could have been angry about that. And I was like, okay, I understand, like whatever. But then it was just like, I don't need you in my life and you're the worst. And who would, this is my show and how dare you?
Extreme.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel
we learned.
I feel like New York kind of closed on a quiet note this week, which was surprising considering all the weeks we've had with drama.
Yeah, no, it's I enjoyed it, but it was good to close on a few more fun things, like the having the guys over and the laughing about that, and even though like Dorinda was sick, because still was like some comical moments,
that was a lot more information than I needed.
I know, they're always like that. These old ladies. Yep.
Oh my God, yeah, that was a lot of like, let's bring a camera in the bathroom and just like check out what's going on here. Yeah, that was a lot.
It's like, our room always smells like this, so I didn't notice.
Yeah, like great. That is information I did not need. But obviously from the previews, it's going to be picking back up next week because they're going to be trying to confront Dorinda about her issues. And obviously that's not going to go well.
No, I don't know who it's a point where her daughter needs to talk to her or something, someone else, she doesn't have John in her life anymore. And I don't know, but maybe her daughter doesn't see that side of her.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, I just was saying I'm okay with John not being in her life.
Well, they weren't going to
terribly interesting to me anyway, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. I just thought that it seemed like I ended up feeling bad for him because it seemed like he was kind of committed there and she never really sometimes treated him kind of badly, like, oh, you're just here because my husband died, so I guess you're fine for now. It was always kind of that thing. And so if I was him, I would have left a long time ago, but maybe he stuck around for the publicity or something, I don't know.
Sure.
But
whatever the reason, as a person, he's definitely better off like being with trying to be with somebody who is actually interested in being with him. And obviously like none of the ladies really liked John anyway, so it's not exactly a great environment that he was, keeping into.
Yep. I guess one more thing quick, switching back to Beverly Hills for a moment. What do you think? So I'm sure as we see, like they're going to talk to Brandy and it's going to go back and forth and stuff. What do you think of how Denise's husband is going to react? Do you think he's going to get involved? Do you like Erica said, and some ladies have had issues? Do you not like the way he's been involved or the very idea that he's involved? Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should be. I mean, I think he can be properly incensed on Denise's behalf because there was some pretty crappy behavior and like ambushing her out of the blue like that. I agree. I mean, I would be mad if, thinking if this could have possibly ever happened to Chris, you know what I mean? Like if there was ever a situation like that, I would be pretty mad. But I don't think inserting myself and therefore like Aaron inserting himself into this conversation is going to A, do any good, and B, not drive a wedge further between Denise and the ladies, which she clearly doesn't want. Like she was saying, like I know the producer kind of had to talk her back into that restaurant and be like, don't leave because you have good relationships with these women. And I mean, they really did have good relationships, and like they brought out like the fun again, and it was nice to see them all getting along, and Denise clearly enjoyed that part of it. So I don't think she wants to drive a wedge further between herself and the ladies, which I think Aaron would do, because I just don't think he's that great at like group conversations like that. I mean, maybe he's better like one-on-one and like, let's talk out our issues. But the past couple times he seemed to be a little incoherent. Like he doesn't quite logically follow a train of thought all the time. Like sometimes I'll, listen to his stuff and be like, I'm not sure quite where that's going, or like where that came from, or
Yeah.
And I think he just gets really hot really fast.
Sure.
And that doesn't help a situation at all. So I hope he doesn't get involved in that. I think he can be mad for Denise and be upset, but just like step back and let her handle it.
Yep. I appreciate it. I don't have I'm not like against him getting involved or one of the husbands getting involved, but I do like how they've talked before, and it has shown that historically it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated PK trying to talk to him a little bit, like, hey, I get it.
Yes.
I was in the same boat or whatever and upset and protective of my wife, but it just doesn't go that well for me to get involved,
Right. Yeah.
I'm there to support them and stuff, but
yeah. I was a little annoyed when Aaron blew him off about that, or seemed to blow him off. I don't know if he listened maybe more than we thought he did, but yeah, I was like, PK knows.
Yep.
He's been in this exact situation. Just listen to him.
He's been through some stuff, yes, with the show.
Yeah. I thought at least some of that, kind of like Aaron inserting himself in the drama, at least was resolved from Erica's standpoint, because she and Denise talked about that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I definitely don't think it's resolved I don't think anything is really resolved between Teddy, Denise, Aaron, any sort of, tension that's there between all three of them.
Nothing's going to be resolved with Teddy because she is so annoying.
Yes.
She is not going to be like, the only person she can relate to right now and ever, it seems, is Kyle. Yep. So if you got a problem with her, it's not going to be fixed. Yeah. She's dead set on not liking Denise, and that's all there is to it. So
yeah, everything is sort of like changing to fit that view.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I'm getting really tired of Teddy's confessionals.
It's bias reinforcement, which is understandably, like, it's it's a real thing. It's easy to do. It's like if you believe something and then you are presented two sides of something, you will choose to believe the thing that supports what you already believe, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Like but try not to do that with your friends, like,
right.
Just so.
Yeah, she's never been my favorite character, and she's not, for me, getting any better this season.
Yep. So, all right. Well, that's Housewives. That's Real Housewives. We caught up on it. I'm sure our producer Alan is riveted and he's like, I'm gonna get into this now. That sounds really good. Anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in. Watching this live or later on demand on your favorite. Alan says I'm dead with laughter, maybe, I don't know.
That's right.
Could be that
he's dead convinced that he should watch the show.
I'd like to thank Killing the Flower for our theme song. Just check them out on Instagram and on Spotify. Go to Popcast on the Rocks on Twitter and here on Twitch and YouTube. Check out our website, like and share and follow and all that stuff. You listen to an episode that has something you like in it, share that episode with someone and be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? I bet you disagree with this guy on his stance on Fortnite or whatever. Why don't you go yell at him some? You can do that kind of thing. So We'll be back middle of the week with another episode that is going to be breaking down The Boys from Amazon, season 1, episodes 3 and 4. So watch that along with us in preparation for season 2. And yeah, we hope to see you then. Thanks again for joining me, Andrea.
Of course. Cheers, everybody.